Have you ever wondered why you feel so emotionally drained? Even when everything in your life looks fine? Why you're holding it all together, checking every box, helping everyone else, but still feeling like something inside you is slowly running out? You're not making this up. You're not too sensitive. You're not lazy, broken, or behind. You've just been trained to care, to soothe, to hold space for everyone, except yourself. Welcome to Mindset Reset, the place to restart your thinking and rebuild your habits. This is why so many women feel emotionally exhausted and still keep going. Most women weren't raised to prioritize their needs. They were raised to anticipate the needs of others. Even now, with more freedom, opportunity, and autonomy than ever before, many women are still carrying emotional responsibilities that no one sees. You're expected to listen, to support, to not complain, to notice how everyone else feels, and manage your own emotions in private. And the thing is, you've probably gotten really good at it. But just because you've adapted doesn't mean it's sustainable. You've stacked your independence on top of your empathy, your ambition on top of your caregiving, your pressure to succeed on top of your pressure to never fall apart. And when you keep adding without releasing, eventually something gives. It doesn't mean you're doing life wrong. It means life never gave you space to stop and ask, what am I carrying that isn't even mine? That question matters, because if you never ask it, you keep carrying it. There's a name for what many women are feeling, even if they've never heard it before. It's called emotional labor. And it's not about being emotional, it's about being responsible for emotions, everyone else's. You remind your partner about his mother's birthday. You notice your coworker is off and ask how she's doing. You keep the peace at family dinners. You soften your feedback. You hold your tongue. No one thanks you because no one sees it. But it costs you something every single time. It's not on your to-do list, but it lives in your nervous system. And by the end of the day, you feel the weight of things you didn't even say out loud. Let me ask you something, gently. Who in your life is used to you noticing everything, but never asking for anything? And what has that silence been doing to you? We talk about burnout like it's a time management issue, but for women, it's often an identity issue. You've been taught that being a good woman means being easy to be around, supportive, stable, understanding. But what happens when no one asks if you feel understood? That's where the exhaustion hides. Not in what you're doing, but in everything you're silently holding while doing it. And because you're capable, you keep going. Because you're strong, you push through. But being strong doesn't mean being invulnerable. It means knowing when something inside you is asking for change. Let's start here with recognition. You've done what so many before you were told they couldn't. You've carved a path in spaces that once excluded you. You've pursued education, built careers, run households, raised children, and led teams, often at the same time. You were told to prove yourself, and you did. You were told to be strong, and you were. You were told not to need anyone, and you learned how. You deserve to be proud of that. But this conversation isn't about your achievements. It's about your happiness, especially in your personal life. Because somewhere along the way, for many women, survival became performance, and performance became protection. It's not your fault. You were reacting to a world that questioned you at every turn. And you met that world with drive, independence, and relentless resilience. But what happens when that armor, the one that helped you rise, starts keeping you from connecting? Some women tell me, men just can't handle strong women. And sometimes, that's true. But sometimes, the strength becomes so tightly held, so guarded, so practiced, that there's no space left for softness, no opening for trust, no signal that support is welcome. And over time, connection becomes harder, not because you're too much, but because you've had to become everything. Studies are starting to show that this do-it-all mode, while empowering, can also lead to emotional burnout and relational disconnection. Because relationships don't respond to effort the same way careers do. They don't reward control. They grow through openness. So pause for a second. Are you building a life or managing an image of one? When was the last time someone saw you fully? Not the competent version, not the curated version, but the real one. Not many people talk about this, but it matters. Because emotional connection isn't built on who looks the most in control. It's built on who feels safe to show up as they really are. And maybe, just maybe, that version of you is tired of hiding behind high standards. Being powerful doesn't mean being emotionally closed. You can be strong and soft, driven and still, independent and connected. This isn't about giving up what you've earned. It's about expanding what you allow yourself to feel and receive. The question now isn't whether you've done enough. You have. You always have. The question is, what would your life feel like if you stopped holding so much of it in your own hands? Not because you can't, but because you don't have to anymore. That's what healing starts with. Not one giant transformation, but a small decision to carry less. Here are a few tools to help you begin. Tool 1, the silent stack. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what did I carry today that no one saw, and did it even belong to me? Tool 2, the permission list. Write down what you're allowed to do, even if no one else says it's okay. Start here. I'm allowed to say no. I'm allowed to feel anger. I'm allowed to stop explaining myself. Tool 3, the mirror check. Before you say yes to anything, am I doing this from connection or from obligation? That one question alone can save you years of silent resentment. When you've been holding everything in for too long, it's easy to reach a breaking point. But needs that are never voiced don't disappear, they explode. And when they do, they often come out as ultimatums. If you don't change, I'm leaving. I can't take this anymore. These moments are usually a cry for help, but they can create fear, not healing. So what's the alternative? A better way to begin. Start before the breaking point. Name the feeling. I've been feeling overwhelmed and disconnected lately. State the need clearly. I need more support with the mornings. Invite collaboration. Can we talk about how to make this feel better for both of us? Tool, the reflection framework. Before quitting, breaking up, or walking away, ask, what am I actually feeling? Have I communicated this calmly? Is this about change or escape? What do I need that I haven't asked for? Clarity protects you. So does communication. Everything you've done up to now, you did to survive, to keep the peace, to protect yourself from being dismissed, left, misunderstood, or made to feel like too much. You don't have to apologize for that, but you don't have to stay in it either. You get to pause. You get to reset. You get to decide that being strong doesn't mean being silent, and that choosing yourself doesn't mean abandoning others. It just means you're finally included in the equation. This is where the reset begins, with self-awareness, with self-permission, with the courage to speak up, not because you're losing it, but because you finally don't want to lose yourself. You were never meant to carry it all, and now you don't have to. If this resonated with you, stay with us, like this video, and subscribe to help us bring you more insightful content. Our next video is how to get unstuck when you have no motivation,